All right, here we are. Welcome everybody to the breakdown with Nathan, Johnny, and the one and only fucking Winston McCall.
Maybe the one and only.
Oh,
I'm not sure. Maybe there's others. We haven't
Alternate
checked. I've
reality.
never actually
have you ever
checked
done
that.
that? Like check the phone book and see if there's another Winston out there and battle for supremacy.
That would be pretty good, wouldn't it? It'd
It
be a
would.
pretty good battle.
There been no Winstons. The McCall have been there.
The McCall's in there.
Yeah.
I haven't seen another W though.
Yeah, right.
The day that I got I think it was like my driver's license. It was the only time I'd met another McCall, and they called out McCall for the license.
You
Like,
both
McCall's
got
ready,
it.
and I got up and some old guy was there, and I'm like, "Who are you?" I'm like, "McCall."
Imagine
It's
you
like,
said,
"This is
I'm
mine."
you from the future.
Yeah, yeah.
I've gotta
Yeah,
warn you.
bleak look from the future. If it was, man. If it was, he was getting like his tractor's license. So yeah,
Things are looking good.
yeah,
Anyway, so I bought a farm.
yeah.
And
Dude, we are so excited to be able to talk about the new album because
Cheers.
this has been a long time coming for you guys.
Yeah, fair bit. Fair bit. fair bit. Yeah, where do we start? Like, kick us off. I don't know.
I
Like,
wanna
here's the
start
thing. I don't know what to make of this entire thing.
I want to talk about, so you guys had like a huge success of Reverence going into these like global tours
Yeah.
and then the world shut down. How heartbreaking was that?
It was weird. I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna say wasn't weird. It was heartbreaking, but at the same point in time, it was almost like a breath of fresh air. So, in the reality, what had been going on with the band for the previous 5 years, like including Reverence, was like, we'll do this like next cycle of like a year, and then we'll take a year off because we're fully cooked.
Yeah.
Like we're so burnt out, but everything kept continually blowing up that the opportunities that kept coming around were just like, we got to do that.
Yeah.
It's too good. Like that's the thing when you're in the industry, like you really are like you got to get to a really high point to be able to actually survive. Let alone like if you're 20 years in and it goes to shit, like the repercussions are pretty major. Like if you release a complete stinker,
Yeah.
and people bail, what's going to happen is like you kind of fucked. Like so when an opportunity comes up that's great, let alone the fun part of it, in the back of your mind you're like, this is still going. This
Yeah.
is sick. This is awesome.
But from
Keep
a
it
business
going.
standpoint as well.
Yeah, just in general, like we got families and like life is real. It's real. That's the thing. I'm about to turn 40. The idea of like going back to where I was 20 years ago, like uni dropout, half the band high school dropouts,
Yeah.
no CV, just like you kind of want to make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're like, the reality of it was we're like, we'll take a year off after the next cycle. And then all of Reverence happened, insane success. We couldn't believe that like we have made it in a degree, and then it shut down. It was just strange, but then we had like 6 months where we fully got to commit to doing like just sinking into the nothingness of like the first 6 months of COVID, which was like, it was terrifying in all of what it was, but at the same point in time, not having a commitment, like it was forced retirement, forced long service
Yeah,
stuff.
fully. I feel
Fully.
like heaps of people had that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the actual
100%.
like,
Yep.
I don't shut down and I had to shut down.
Had to shut down, that's the thing. So
did
it was
you guys
weird.
ever have that fear though? Like when it did, just like we've spent 20 years building this thing up,
Yep.
and it's going to be all of our hard work is going to be stripped away from us
Yep.
for no fault of our own, and we may never get this back.
100%. But when we had that, we really like, Wacken for us was that thing that we looked back on at that moment and we're like, you know what? If none of this ever comes back, like that's kind of
Yeah,
the
what a way to
peak.
go out.
Yeah.
It's kind of the peak, man. And
Yeah.
we just done good things here as well. Like a big statement, us being able to headline a festival in Australia
Yeah.
and leveled the joint. And we're like, we've got nothing to prove. And if we never get it back, like, it's a hell of a ride. Like, you climb the Everest kind of thing. But, yeah. Then when the idea of it coming back started, we're like, well, there's more things you can do.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like we were burnt out on the concept of doing band. We just needed a break from the grind. Like
Yeah.
the
So
grind.
Yeah.
You felt like you had nothing to prove. Is that what allowed you to then step into Darker Still?
Yeah, fully.
Doing it for you? Because
Yeah.
like, we're done for everyone else. We've been
Yeah,
now
yeah.
doing what we
Not only that, but like when we started writing it, it was only like we started writing after 6 months out of just there's nothing to do. Like it's not like Byron was shut off.
Yeah.
They literally shut
Yeah.
shut the town down at the roads, and if you weren't from Byron on your driver's license, they weren't letting you in.
Yeah.
So it was like stay at home or go for a surf because you're allowed to exercise. Like the beaches were like freeways of people.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
Yeah, right.
And the surf was pumping, but at the same point in time, we love writing music. So
Yeah.
we all around the 6 month mark were like, you want to write some tunes? And we just started jamming again. It was sick. But when we started crafting them, it was like the concept of it coming back. That's when we knew it was years.
Yeah.
Like live music's not coming back. It's not coming back. We're the scapegoat for everything that's getting spread around this country at this point in time.
Yeah.
So, and when you write a record in that environment, it really just was. This could be the last record you ever write. Music industry could never come back. This probably isn't going to be a career. What do you actually create? And it was just lots of out there stuff. Like
Yeah.
the commitment to, like, reaching as far as we could, further than anything we've done before, was very much at the forefront of what we were trying to create. So
Did you
yeah.
feel like when you sort of felt like it was coming back and you could start that like writing process for Darker Still, did any of you guys or yourself feel like a pressure to actually start doing it again, or were you actually looking forward to it and actually?
Oh, looking forward to it. It's interesting though. I think there was an actual pressure because we wrote for, like I'm saying, it would have been about 9 months with none of that. It was just like write music, and on the days when the surf was good, we're like, we're not coming in today.
Yeah.
Like hard life. Like the whole time we were just like, we're in the best place in the world, the best position to be doing this.
Yeah.
We felt incredibly lucky to be where we were. Like my brother's locked in Melbourne, and week 16 something, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude. Surf's kind of good, man.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, man. Like, yeah. But yeah, like the pressure didn't kick in until after like on like month 9, and it would have been like a year of COVID at this point in time. There was almost an idea of it being out, like, and then we had to start getting the gears in motion to actually record the thing, and that's when the reality was like, you're doing another album.
Yeah.
You have to book a studio. You have to do all of these things, and we had this discussion of like, when's it going to come out? We're like, we'll try and record in like a year and a half or something. And everyone was like, ooh, that's pretty soon. Normally we have like 4 months to write an album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and,
right.
and that was just the pressure talking of like back to the grind. Like there was that much, I'm going to say, trauma of the way we operated beforehand involved, that it was kind of like the idea of that switch being flicked back to the grind kind of made us react in different ways. So it didn't affect the way we actually, well, it probably did affect the way we created it. It didn't affect the quality of what came out, but it's now apparent that that was a trigger for
Yeah.
a different mindset.
You guys have said that this was like the hardest thing you guys had to do.
Yeah.
Like this record was
Yeah.
the hardest thing to write.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's kind of the most rewarding too?
Oh,
Getting
100%.
through the end of it?
100%. It's like at the end of it, like we were literally a broken, like the band was completely broken, and we were confronted. It was a very confronting thing.
Yeah.
But at the same point in time, like the day that the mastering was done, it was like, congratulations. Like this is
why we do it.
why we do
yeah.
it. This is something which we have worked 20 years to achieve, to be able to create a record like this. So immensely proud of it, and the work that we put into being able to execute it, because it took a lot of growth, not only of the band's career, but from when we started to the execution date. Like having it in your imagination and knowing the steps that you got to go through to
Yeah.
execute the actual album is a daunting task. And we did everything that we wanted to do with zero sacrifice. And we're like, well done. Like you all did really well. Now let's figure out how to unbreak this broken thing.
It's funny that you sort of touched on, like this album that we've wanted to make for 20 years sort of thing. And this is really cool for us, like, because we have literally watched you guys, everyone says
Yeah.
they've followed a band from the start. We have
Yeah.
literally watched you guys do your first tours, your first shows,
Yeah.
playing to 50 people at Youth Centre. So
Yeah.
to sit here talking to you now, like, 20 years later, and be able to talk about this with you is awesome for us. But it's also really interesting to me that you said it's the album that you've always wanted to create. And,
Yeah.
and it's interesting because you talk about like the change in direction and metal elitists
Yeah.
and metalcore elitists. So you guys have always kind of had this sort of, I guess, this flavour for this type of sound that you've got now.
Oh,
It's
100%.
always been in the motion.
Jeff's favourite band from day dot is Metallica. His favourite album is the Black Album. Like That's why we got him as a guitarist, because it didn't
Yeah.
fit with like hardcore, which we were making at that point in time. The thing with it was like what we started creating was not 100% representation of the actual interests and like influences. It's all a distillation of the different characters within the band and what's also accessible. The thing that we started creating was incredibly accessible because it wasn't this grand like music which is on a tier which
You
is
can't hit that as technical
you
shit.
can't hit that.
yeah,
You
totally.
don't even consider hitting that. What
Yeah.
you consider hitting is the band that you saw at the Youth Centre, or the band that like you went to Brisbane and saw at a pub and snuck into seeing.
Yeah.
Because it relates as well, and you're like, I can scream. I can't sing, but I can scream. Like, I could probably play that riff that they're playing. Like, the songs aren't conventionally structured. It's more based out of like just getting it out there rather than the technical songwriting aspect or anything like that. You can't figure out how like an album like fucking Appetite for Destruction or
Yeah,
the Black
100%.
Album or anything's written. You literally just look at that and like that's written. It's legend. Like it's legend. It's pop culture
Yeah.
legend.
100%.
But after like, it's always still held there. There's that benchmark. It doesn't disappear. Metallica is still as relevant as
Yeah.
ever. And there's still people that you look at, and the more you grow as a musician, the more that you choose to take and retain and build upon or let go of any of the influences you have or anything you actually want to do. And what's happened for us is basically we still completely resonate with exactly where we started. But every time we step out, you keep one foot, like the roots are still there and the branches begin to grow. And every time a branch grows, you grow a little bit further away from the roots. And there's a few more of those branches, and a little bit less time is spent looking at the roots, and that just keeps going out and out and out. So the distillation of what the original sound source was becomes greater with the amount of time spent growing out. It doesn't get left behind. There's just, you learn how to use those pieces more effectively
To create something new.
and to create something new. That's it. And the new stuff that comes in starts like, it just creates more space and more dynamic within everything you've created. And it happens like smaller at the start because you're still on an adventure at the start with that thing that you're just trying to figure out how to do. And it takes a little while for that to become comfortable. And then the next little thing gets brought in with a little bit of fear because you're like, here's another new thing, shit. And the more you become comfortable and the more you become confident in your musicians, the more gigs you play, the faster the process starts to happen. It goes from playing like 30 shows a year to playing 60 to playing 100 to playing 200. And then after 20 years, you
To
played
having
thousands.
10 days off a year.
That's exactly it, yeah. And like thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hours of muscle
Yeah.
memory and experience until all of a sudden you're like, I have this incredible bank of knowledge around the craft that we create, and you have the confidence to just go, nah, fuck it, we're going to do whatever we want, and we kind of know how to execute this shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you said something a second ago that it's so funny that you said that because it's something that I've wondered about for years now from you. You said, I can scream, but I can't sing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you remember this, but years ago, like, I remember reading or watching an interview with you and someone asked you, like, does Parkway plan on doing the kill switch thing
Yeah.
and doing the clean choruses? And you said something along the lines of, there's enough bands with singers out there that are great singers doing that. If
Yep.
I ever going to do that, it's not going to be until I feel like I'm good enough to keep up with those sorts
Yep.
of bands and I'm confident enough in myself. And I thought it was like one of the most like humble things I'd ever heard and very sort of self-reflective and sort of keeping yourself in check of where you are as an artist. Now there's a lot of clean singing now.
Yeah.
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 So are you at a point, obviously, where you feel like you can do this and you've got something to offer?
Oh, 100%. That's why it's there.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So what happened was the whole story behind it is at year 10, it was around the time the band really started blowing up to the point where like set times went from 40 minutes to an hour 15. And around the hour mark, like I still had no knowledge of even just screaming. No one ever taught me how to do it. And I was starting to lose like power. And I had no idea how to compensate for it. Like none. I was just like, let's go harder. And every night, like George, our sound guy's like, nah, dude, it's not working, man.
You're blowing your
You're
voice
just
out.
blowing your voice out. So I got a camera stuck down my throat to get it sorted, and I thought it was going to like be the end of it. And everything was fine. And he was like, whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And I was like, shit, well, I haven't hurt myself. Maybe I should actually figure out what my instrument is. So I started getting singing lessons, and I started learning the mechanics of breathing and all the muscles that go into it, and voice control and everything to do with that. And I'd limited myself previously before that to the concept of like, if I'm screaming and I've got no idea what I can do, like what I'm doing, surely my throat is destroyed. Surely I can't actually do it. And it was like the door just opening up, basically. And I was like, well, I may as well put the effort into this because I enjoy all of this other type of music. And I started doing it. But it was never, it's never been with the goal of being a really good singer. Like, there's a very different, the Killswitch reference is like perfect because that's a touchstone for a band with singers who are very good. Like, they hit notes, they're crisp as hell, it sounds phenomenal, and it's used in a way that highlights that soaring nature of the chorus and elevates everything. That's not the singer that I am, and it's not what I want to bring to the band. Like, this, even when it's at its most melodic and like anthemic, the voice that I'm using is still, there's still gravel in it.
Grit, yeah. 100%.
It's still grit, but for me, it's about character. Like, the things that I resonate with is character and emotion, and being able to bring that in to the band's music in a way that takes it to those new places, that highlights the human part of whatever emotion is there. And a lot of the time, like, it involves softness, it involves like gravel, it involves just tuning yourself into that world that you're trying to create at that point in time. And that's been the journey for me. It's like every reference I brought in when I was learning how to sing, they're like, they're not a good singer. They just really know themselves, and they know the character that they're trying to create. And that's exactly what it is, to the point where now, there's a lot of clean singing. It still doesn't sound like Killswitch. Doesn't sound like Axl Rose. Like, it's
we've had a chance to listen to the album quite a bit now, and not to blow smoke up your ass, but it sounds fucking fantastic, man.
Cheers, man.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
The mood is set like on some of those songs, and I'm just like, I did not expect to hear this from Parkway, but goddamn, I'm enjoying hearing this.
Thanks, man.
It's so different.
That's a direct quote. He messaged me. When that's not him blowing it. It was.
Cheers, man.
I didn't expect this, but I fucking love it.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's been able to, like, what it does as well is it releases the other musicians in the band. Like, the imagination is always there, but what you're willing to do within your craft also dictates what the other guys are able to do within their craft.
Yeah, fully.
Because, like, if I can't, there's no point in writing a song like Darker Still if I can't deliver a vocal performance which fits the vibe of that song.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that song was like the biggest turning point. Like, that song was the one which we tried to write on Reverence and tried to write on Ire, like the concept for it. And I wasn't at a point where I could do it, and we couldn't quite, like, this is the album where the skill catches up with the imagination. We could imaginate it, but we couldn't articulate how to structure a song like that, how to piece it together. And you'd have a couple of riffs which are like, it needs to be a song like that, but you didn't know how the hell to put it together. So it just got rolled back into like a more standard configuration, like Deathless Song or a Kronos or something like that. And you end up with like an intro piece or an outro piece or a bridge piece where it explores that within the functions that you're already really comfortable in. And this was just happened to be the one where like Jeff really early on had the melody for that riff, and had his like plumber mate whistle on it when he came around during COVID, and he showed us, and we're just
I was actually wondering who did the whistling.
No, the whistling's not by the plumber, but that's where it started. But yeah, that started early on, and from that, like literally him showing us the acoustic demo of just that riff and the intro piece with this whistle at the start, we're like, that's the one. Like, that's the one that we're going to make this song on. And then we just had to like figure out how to do the rest of the things, and it took us like a year and a half.
How happy is Jeff that you've basically given him a golden ticket and gone solos?
Yeah. Oh, dude,
maybe.
no. I'm the one pushing that. It's not even the
really?
golden ticket. So here's my thing with Jeff. I think he's like one of the most underrated guitarists in the entire scene.
100%.
100%. Like, whenever it's like, who's a good guitarist? I see people come out and I'm like, my dude would fucking riff you under the table. And it's not even about like just like technicality or anything like that. He plays with soul.
Feel, man, I said that
It's
in
soul.
Darker Still.
And it's something that you can't like. All of us in the band come from a place where we can't write music. We come from a place where we just play what connects. And he writes like he writes in a way that's incredibly personal to him. And he will work something until it's exactly like, you can understand him more in the way he plays than the way he speaks. And I've constantly been like, you need to be in the spotlight. Your riffs, you need to be up here as much as fucking possible because, like, your melodies are key to this band.
Yeah.
And that song was like, we got to a break and I'm like, you need a solo here. Like, you're the voice of the guitar and you needs to speak here and it needs to speak there. And that end part, this needs to be the equivalent of when Slash walks out of the church in Guns, like in November Rain. And that's literally what it is.
Yeah.
It's fully it. We're like,
Yeah.
this is going to be like Something Else Matters and a November Rain. And that's what it's got to be. And I'm just, every time he's like, I don't know, there's a lot of lead in this. I'm like, there's not enough lead, man. Just go more nuts.
I
So,
can't wait to see him in the little hot denim shorts.
100%, yeah, that's it, yeah.
The big power stance
Yeah,
up on the
yeah.
stacks, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but look, it does sound fantastic. It sounds so good, that song. Like, I love
Cheers.
it.
Yeah,
Off
it's
the
nice.
back of that, though, you're going to have some controversy, and I know you guys are aware
Of course.
that with this one.
Yeah.
How was that conversation? You said you came apart as a broken band.
Yeah.
You've got to build yourself back up within yourself to be, like, comfortable in what you're about to release. And obviously, you're proud of what you've done, but you still got to make success. Like, it's a band that's that... Was that fearful, or is that something you like...
Really isn't. Like the stuff
that
putting us,
so much,
we
yeah.
haven't feared that in a long time, because do you know what my fear is? Like fully Johnny. If you came
Sorry.
in here and you said that was shit, I would have just been out the window.
Well,
No, yeah. No, my fear is a lack of controversy. My fear is that no one says anything, because, like, that's bland. Like, that's the
people
thing.
don't care enough.
No, that's it. Like, the really interesting that I find, the thing that I love and that I find, like, if people really hate something that we do, it's generally not because they hate it in relation to something else that we've done,
Yeah.
which is really amazing. Like, I respect that people have opinions and that
Yeah.
I know we've changed our sound, and if you're not down for that, I'm completely understanding of that. We all are. That's the thing. It's just the fact that we have always done this for ourselves, which is
Tyler Creator quote. He's like, if you like my old music, that's cool. That's still there.
Exactly,
I'm doing
that's
this
it.
now. Go listen to that stuff.
It's
It
like
still exists.
it's literally free on Spotify. It's not like
Yeah.
even if you don't own the CD, like, music's free these days. Fucking hell.
Windmill
So
kick the shit out of your bedroom, listening
Yeah.
to Smoke 'em if you got it. Go for
exactly,
it.
that's the thing, man. That's the thing, which is sick. And the thing that blows me away is every time we release something, I'm like, there's always a comment or something like, they fucking peaked with Killing with a Smile. I'm like, and you're here 17 years later, still listening to this and giving me that opinion. I'm like, you've remained engaged for 17 years through shit you didn't like. Like, I respect the fact that someone's that passionate about something we did that long ago. That's fucking cool.
Means you've done something right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's awesome. And the day that, like, we put something up and it's just wallpaper is the day that we've really done something wrong. But I don't think that's possible, because, like, every time we listen to it, I'm like, this is going to turn heads in one way or another.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And if it's bland, it doesn't even make the cut.
There you go.
Yeah.
Stop being bland.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So
Hint, hint.
we're probably getting close to needing to wrap up. So what we love to do is some Would You Rathers. We also give an Aussie quiz to our international guests.
You don't count.
Do I get the Aussie quiz?
No, you don't.
I'd probably
No.
fail
Well,
that one.
One of the
I think.
questions
Yeah,
is
yeah.
where's Parkway Drive from? And it does make it in the fucking no one knows about Byron Bay.
Ignorance.
Yeah, they keep saying Perth.
nerve.
I do have one from that, though. What's the most successful Australian band of all time?
Surely AC/DC.
And what country have they not had a top 20 hit in?
It can't be Australia. Fuck off.
Not Australia.
No.
Well, we could have given them the quiz.
Maybe you probably could have.
America,
I don't know.
they've never had a top 20
Never
in
had a
America.
top
the
20
fuck
hit.
out.
Yeah.
I say this every time.
Last Action
that
Hero,
scene
TNT,
in
that had to
Iron
be
Man,
100%.
Iron Man. Yeah, what the
Yeah.
Never had
Makes
a
no
top 20
sense.
hit.
Okay, cool. Yep.
America, you cooked it.
Yeah, you fully cooked it.
All right, so we like to ask some Would You Rathers.
Okay, cool.
All right, for a bit of fun.
Yep.
No one wants to talk about Parkway Drive's music.
Yeah.
That's not true. All right, so you got to listen to one of these songs once a day, every day for the rest of your life.
All right. Make them difficult.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
very
okay, right.
Nickelback Photograph or Creed with Arms Wide Open.
Oh! Creed with Arms Wide Open, because we watched Stat play to 5 people in a barn in New Jersey.
No way.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Amazing.
It was interesting. It was interesting. It was because
himself?
it was him as a solo as a solo artist with his band, and, like, watching that guy be irrelevant and those epic songs.
Oh,
like I think
man.
it was even with like Suicide Silence as well. We're gonna watch some Creed songs, and there was literally like 5 people in the tent, which was a barn, just going. This is like
Was that hard to watch?
Gone like through the multiverse here.
He also pushes so hard with his vocals in a small space.
Arms wide open.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
what your Darker Still.
There's
Yeah, there you go.
album.
That's Darker Still sounds exactly like that. It's basically just full on Creed cover album.
All right. Next we've got.
Oh, you want to go with one?
Yeah.
This would be good. Marvel or Star Wars. You could be a character for one, which you're picking,
Oh, it's Star Wars.
and which top character.
A Sith Lord of some
Yeah,
kind.
I was gonna say I'm getting a
Full Darth something.
Darth Winstead.
I called myself Darth Ire like after the album came out. So yeah, like I'd be a Sith Lord for sure, 100%.
Like the cover for the new album could be kind of like a.
100% could be a mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, cape. Give me a cape. I mean,
Yeah.
not like I've got a skivvy already. Seriously, if anyone's involved in the Star Wars universe and wants to cast me, 100%. I don't even need vocal effects. Like I can give you so much range.
Fuck yeah. All right.
See me as an Ewok in the next.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tallest Ewok ever.
Yeah.
All right. Gandalf or Dumbledore?
Oh, that's actually genuinely difficult. Because Dumbledore, they both die, but only one comes back to life. But Dumbledore was awesome. Oh my God! And even Gandalf was ruined in
But
the
you
Hobbit
get-
ones.
You get to say "Thou shalt not pass."
They do,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're Gandalf.
Yeah, I'm
I mean,
Gandalf.
I'm Dumbledore. So.
I'll take Dumbledore. I'll actually take Dumbledore because
The fucking flames. He's doing this shit.
yeah,
That's
dude,
so
you see
badass.
so much more badass magic in the
Yeah.
Harry Potter series than you actually do in the one with the hairy small
Don't play
people.
Parkway's new album.
Yeah, hairy small feet.
All
man.
right. Next one.
Oh yeah, this is. I feel like I know the answer to some, but would you rather headline a festival or solo show?
Oh, how big's the show? Doesn't even matter, does it?
No.
Nah,
Stadium,
people in
stadium,
a
but
barn
it's
in-
just your show.
stadium. It's
Five
got to be a
people in a barn.
stadium. We
you
have to
have
be
to sing the
airlifted in. I got to jump out of a helicopter to be in that show. The show because I've got more options. Like we really can just do whatever we want with the show. So
How do you guys are at that point with the festival now?
kinda, but there's still restrictions to a degree. Kinda.
We'll
I don't
speak
know.
to the organisers.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
We
Yeah.
need a helicopter, guys.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like I know.
What about
the
our
answer
own
to this one.
festival?
Oh, Parkway
hells yeah.
Festival.
Boom.
Let's do that.
Crossover.
Shit.
Whew.
Guys.
There you go.
Metallica or Slayer?
Metallica. It's got it. Like they're still around.
Yeah.
And
true.
I as much as I love Slayer, I still haven't seen Metallica either, and I've seen Slayer. So
Dude,
yeah,
what?
still haven't seen Metallica. So yeah,
Well, this
Yeah.
can be another question that we generally ask
Yeah.
bands. One bucket list band that you've never toured with, would it be them?
yeah, it have to be, 100%.
Man, that would be such a freaking sick tour.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on Nick Cave, but I don't think that crossover's happening. yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. For me, it is Metallica. Like there's. I love a sing along as well,
Yeah.
and I like. Yeah, Slayer doesn't have as many sing alongs.
That's
That is true.
We've
Yeah.
got some thrash alongs. Though.
Oh, thrash alongs for days,
Straight
man.
here, out,
I've
wherever.
seen
Windows.
I've seen the murder festivals. So
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
All right.
I think I know the answer to this one too. Beach living or snow living?
Oh, beach living.
Yeah, of course.
I get cold. I get a little
miss?
chilly.
Wear the skivvy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's the old Esky lid rider
Yeah,
and you're
that's
coming out.
100% till I die, man.
All right. Now, you meet your hero. All right? One of these things is going to happen. You're accidentally going to vomit on them, or they're accidentally going to vomit on you. What do you choose?
I'll take the vomit 100%.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nick
100%.
Cave vomiting on
Nick
him.
Cave vomiting on me? Fuck yeah, man. Dude. Yeah.
Nick, if you're watching.
Yeah, Nick, if you're watching, I'll get vomited on by you. Yeah.
All right, now the last one, and this is the divisive one. This is the one that's divided the channel.
Yeah,
All right.
really
And it's
has.
divided other bands as well.
So
Oh.
you're going into a show.
Mm-hmm.
Wet socks or wet underwear. Which one do you have to put on?
Yeah, you have to put them on.
You're starting dry, but you're walking on before you're on stage.
I'll put wet underwear on. Because socks, I got really bad feet and I get blisters and stuff. And there's like uncomfortable feet. I mean, my underwear's going to get wet anyway.
Everyone says that.
Yeah.
Why
Your
do
underwear
people
gets
call
wet
sweat
anyway, and
chafy
you'd be
underwear?
surprised how like dry the socks are at the end of the show. So,
Wow.
yeah, I don't know.
You got a lot of fire on
It's
stage.
almost-
as well.
almost
Yeah,
You just
standing
warm them up.
100%. Wet underwear feels crap, but 2 songs in, everything's wet anyway. But putting on wet socks and like sogging out
Yeah.
into a set, like you just feel demoralized
So
straight up.
feet.
Yeah.
Cold wet.
That's what I was going to
Yeah.
say. Nate's thing is like, have you ever tried to put on a cold, wet wetsuit? It sucks, but I feel like you've done that a million
I've
times.
done it a lot. I've
Yeah.
tried to put on cold, wet socks, and that sucks way more because, like, at the end of it, like, you put on underwear and your feet go through the little holes and they come out the other side into the warmth. But you put socks on and you just you slide into a dark, dank hole and you stay there.
Dank, what a word.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, dude.
Tanker still.
Yeah, tanker still. Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for joining us. Like,
Pleasure,
we've
lads.
been
Thanks for having me.
fans for years and years and years. The album absolutely crushes.
Thank you.
Do not worry, there is plenty of absolutely crushing bangers on there.
With arms wide open.
You can
Thank you so much, dude.
Cheers. Appreciate
it,
it.
and good luck with everything.
Thanks. That was a banger. Cheers, lads.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for checking it out. Stoked.